Hello, welcome to the People Pleaser Support Group. My name is Tina Rose, if this is your first time here. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back, my friend in kindred spirit. The People Pleaser Support Group, if this is your first time here, is a place where we hold space for your healing journey, for each other's healing journey. We honor your lived experience and we encourage your recovery. And I am a recovering people pleaser. I have years and decades of experience being a people pleaser. I have been recovering basically my whole life, but I've been in the hot and heavy recovery for about a decade. And what has been on my heart, especially in the last 15, 18 hours, is I've been noticing how I have been comparing myself in a subtle way. And it's something that I believe we all do, even people who wouldn't necessarily be categorized as a chronic people pleaser oftentimes compare themselves, especially with the internet and the social media, the way it is these days. So it can seep into being a people pleaser, but I'm not sure where it's going to go. I just decided that I wanted to visit this subject for myself. This is part of what I have been guided to do. I have been summoned to change the trajectory of your life by coming on daily and sharing my true lived experience in my everyday routine as a recovering people pleaser, where I've been in that arena, where I am, and what I aspire to and for. And so today I'm feeling like I want to just explore. I'm not sure if this is going to have like a direct result by the end of this video as far as what's a good idea to do and implement into your life to stop comparing yourself. But I'm just going to talk about it where I'm feeling where I am right now and see where it goes. I am a sacred mirror for those who resonate with this channel and have lived similar experiences as a people pleaser. And like I said, this isn't necessarily, it can be, it doesn't have to be something that is specific to people pleasing, because I don't know, the whole world is an insane asylum. That's my take on it. And it's Earth School. You know, if you're not learning lessons, then, you know, right? Maybe something needs to be reevaluated. And that's not a judgment call. It's just something I'm still trying to get my head around. But I want to fill into this where I have been, even before I started getting on YouTube daily. I feel it was still there before that. So it's not just around comparing myself to other YouTubers, but it came up mostly when I came across a YouTuber and I felt we had a lot of similarities in where we were in our healing journey, where we are in how much light we bring in and how much light we shine out. There was just a lot of similarities. And then there were other things that I felt like were happening to them and that they had accomplished, like present time. And I started comparing it. I'm like, why is that not happening to me? Sort of thing. You know, I was doing a lot of, um, having a lot of similar experiences a year or two ago, yet these other things weren't happening to me that were happening to them in the present. And, just a general comparison. And at some points, I would feel like, have I gone backwards? And there would be some, I would say, concern about it. And I'm still feeling into, I don't think I was having as much self judgment as I have about things in the past. And I know intellectually that different people, different path, different divine timing. You know what I'm saying? So I know intellectually that my experience doesn't have to be exactly the same as anyone else's. But I did find myself critiquing these things about um, where I am and how much light I'm bringing in and how much light I'm shining out, what my frequency is and has been in the past compared to what it was in the past. And I know intellectually that we are forever changing. And they say, the high frequency beings tell us that we cannot go backwards. Once we reach certain milestones, we're there and we can't go backwards. So I kind of feel that. I know a lot of these things intellectually, as I keep saying, but I want to embody. I want to embody what I know intellectually is that everything I need is inside of me. And there is nothing to compare. We're all individual for a reason, so that we can be our own unique self, our own unique true self. And I just wanted to bring this up and let me know what you think in the comments. There are so many times that I want to hear more from you and your experiences. What are your experiences? Things maybe you've learned, things you want to learn, you feel like you're doing this, comparing yourself, and in what areas? I mean, I would just love to know your perspective of this if you feel so inclined to share in the comments. Yeah, and I was hoping that just talking about it up here would bring some epiphanies about it, or just maybe work out some kinks, some old conditioning that needs to be looked at still, if that's what it is. But I feel like the whole world, even people that don't compare themselves consistently, chronically on a regular basis, there has to be a here and there where they might, in some situations, for something that maybe they still need to heal around. There has to be a little something in everybody, is what I'm thinking. But at the same time, like, you know, how did Jesus handle that when he was walking the earth? I mean, I think he was such an evolved being, that's what I would guess, that he didn't, at that point, in his um, soul, within his soul, and recognizing Christ consciousness and embodying Christ consciousness in his, excuse me, in his energy And in his human body, I feel like that he was beyond that and he didn't do it anymore. But, and so, or somebody like, Yogananda, before they, before he, became the master, the ascended master that he was in that last human experience, how did he compare himself any? Just before crossing that bridge into complete sovereignty, did any ego activity ever come up that he would hear that would be comparing himself to someone else, but he wouldn't attach to it? I'm just curious about all these things. I want to know. I want to embody my full light, whatever that looks like in this human body, whatever that means. I'd love to hear some perspectives on that. Just going back to the trust factor, trusting. I want to embody that trust, not just know it intellectually. Trust that I am at the right place at the right time. I am right where I'm supposed to be on my path where I am right now. My chapter 12 isn't going to be exactly the same as anybody else's chapter 12. And I want to embody that full trust in knowing that, because when I do catch myself comparing where I am on my spiritual path and what's happening to me and whatnot, I believe that I don't really attach to it most of the time. I'm going to say most of the time, but because I think I have caught myself continuing. I mean, just when that YouTuber that I referred to before comes through my feed again, it occurs to me. And so I want to be able to see that person and watch their video because their content resonates with me. I feel like we're on that same frequency. I want to watch, I want to see them, hear the name, and without having that feeling or without that thought popping into my head. And I think it is possible. So I'm going to continue to work on that, healing whatever that is inside of me. And I just got because I'm worth it. And again, I want to be the mirror for you. We are all worth the ultimate enlightenment of knowing and being our true nature. And I think that's all I have today for the People Pleaser Support Group. Like millions of other people, I have been preparing my home for the ice storm, for the winter storm that's supposed to blow through tonight and tomorrow. I had to work on getting a new kerosene heater put together, even though I've had it for a few years, 5 years maybe, been a while. I had purchased it 5 years ago in anticipation for another winter storm that was a false alarm, so I never even took it out of the box. And it was in storage at a friend's house or my aunt's house. And so I was feeling into it. Is it really going to happen this time? And I was getting, there's a good chance that we will have a power outage. So I wanted to make sure that I had this source of heat, and then I had to run around. It was quite a bit of work and effort to get everything set up. Had to run around and find the specific kerosene that goes in this. It's 1K. It's a clean, pure kerosene, since you're burning it inside. And what's coming up right now is around trusting your higher self, trusting your inner wisdom, trusting your inner knowing, right? And not looking outside yourself. I did have to follow the instructions, but there was still, like in anything new that we're doing, there might be something that there's a bump in the road. And there were a couple times when the instructions didn't clarify a couple things on the setup and getting it lit for the first time, for example. The instructions were leaving something out as far as my mind, and I wasn't seeing it. And so I have learned that when I get to this point, that it is easier if I just pause and breathe, focus on my breath, and say, everything I need to know will be given to me, and trust my higher self. I'll say, okay, how are we going to figure this out? And something will fall out in front of me in the physical, or a thought will be put in my head. Well, let me go check out such and such. A word will make me go, oh, let me look at that. Or, and I'll go on the YouTube, and everything's on the YouTube, and search up, such and such about the wick, how to get it lit, or where is it, because I didn't see it. And it just, when I let go, and this can happen for everybody, when I let go and just say, okay, show me how this is going to be known about this wick. And it happened in a couple things in that process, and it was like, and so that feels good. That feels really good to be in that place. And at the very first point when this wick problem started coming up, I thought, well, who do I know that's semi nearby that can come help me with this? And I know such and such up the street. There's a good chance, he would know how to do it. But then something in me said, Tina, if they can figure it out, you can figure it out. And so I decided I'm not going to call anybody. I got this. I don't need to figure it out. I'm going to be guided. And I did. And I got everything figured out. I was led and guided to the right place to go to find the 1K kerosene, because lots of places were out at that point. Everybody in town is either, getting their generator ready or getting their kerosene heater ready. So, I was able to find everything I needed, figured out everything on the kerosene heater. I'd never really used one before. As far as setting it up and whatnot, I lived in a home where there was one, but I didn't really do anything with it. But now I know. And that feels good. It feels good to know. And I did lean into the fact, when I was having those bumps, I leaned into the fact that my only reality is energy, and that I can know how to do anything that I decide to call in. I decide I want to do. And that's a really good feeling. I hope that for everyone. I think I'm going to wrap it up right here and do some final preparations for the big ice storm. And I was delighted to figure out too, it just came through. I hadn't thought about it, given it any thought. I have Starlink. So I've got that, I don't know if they call it a dish these days or what, but the equipment, Starlink equipment on the top of my house, on my roof. But it happened to come through about, okay, is the buildup of the ice going to affect my internet connection, right? None of us want to not have an internet connection. And so I started looking into it, and the Starlink equipment actually has a built-in sensor, um, and it will, when it senses the snow and the ice, it will turn on a heating element and melt the ice and the snow off of it, so it doesn't get blocked. The signal doesn't get blocked. It can still receive what we need. I just had to make sure the settings were right, and everything is a learning curve. It's like everything is a learning curve, but because I now know, I used to have anxiety about everything, especially if I had to figure something out, um, in the old days, and so much anxiety. And just having so much anxiety would block my clarity. And so it led to panic. But nowadays, I don't do that. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that I know that things can be easy. They're only difficult if I don't tune in and just allow the flow of what you need to come through. And with that, my friends, we love you and blessed be. See you again tomorrow.